For 338 years, ship ownership has been one of the most closed industries on earth. Greek families, Japanese trading houses, European banks, and Chinese state lessors are the only ones on the list. If you were an ordinary person, a sailor, or a small business owner, anywhere in the world, backing a working ship was simply not a door that was open to you. In January of this year, a regulatory pathway opened that door for the first time. And this happened in Dubai. Quick note, before we go any further, this video is not investment advice. It is a piece of shipping history that explains a piece of shipping's future. Here is what we're going to cover. 1. Where the rules of modern ship finance actually came from. Trust me, the answer is not a bang. 2. How ships are financed today. The 4 sources of capital and why none of them has historically had the door for ordinary people open. Number 3. A regulatory decision in Dubai earlier this year that most people outside the shipping industry have not yet noticed and opens the doors to ships and the shipping world for you. Ladies and gentlemen, why does ship ownership actually matter? Shipping is not a small industry. 80% of everything you buy moves on a ship at some point. The global commercial fleet is worth more than $2 trillion. And for most modern history, the profit from moving the world's goods has gone to a very small number of families and institutions. With this, let's start. Imagine for a moment that you're a sailor in London in 1688. It's a cold evening. You walk into a coffee shop, which is a sailor's usual spot on Tower Street. The windows are steamed up, the room smells of coffee and wet wood. And the man behind the counter, Edward Lloyd, has done something nobody else in the city has thought of. He has covered his walls with the latest news from the docks, which ships have arrived, which are lost, and which have been taken by pirates off the Barbary coast. This coffee shop with this one man is about to do something the rest of the world will not catch up with for 3 centuries. 3 institutions are about to born inside it. All 3 of them still run global shipping today. But before we get onto them, watch what happens in this room. That information on Edward Lloyd's walls, that is gold. It attracts a very specific crowd. Merchants, ship captains, men with money who want to be involved in the booming world of trade, and here is what they do. A broker walks in with a slip of paper. On it are the details of a voyage, name of a ship, the cargo, the route, and the value of the cargo. He puts the slip on a table. Anyone willing to take a small piece of the risk writes their name under it, with the amount they are good for. 10 pounds, maybe 15 pounds. The contributions cover the big risk of sailing a vessel between them. If the ship comes home, every one of them makes a small profit. If it sinks, no single person is ruined. What you are watching for the first time in modern history, ordinary people pool small amounts of money to share in the risk and the reward of a single ship. That word, underwriter, is one you still hear today in every bank, in every insurance company, or an IPO prospectus on this earth. It literally comes from what you are watching in this room. People writing their names under a list in a coffee shop in 1688. Now the 3 institutions born at that room. First, the Lloyds of London, the world's largest insurers in the market. Second, Lloyd's List, the daily shipping newspaper Edward Lloyd's successor started in 1734. It has been published every single working day since. Third, the Lloyd's Register, the body that inspects ships, founded in 1760. They check the hull, the propulsion, and the safety systems on board. They give each ship a quality grade. And here is the critical part. No bank in the world will lend against a ship unless a society like Lloyd's Register has inspected it. No insurer will cover it. No port will accept it. That single coffee shop habit of checking ships is now the foundation of every ship finance deal on this planet. Let's move to the second question on our agenda, and that is how ships are actually financed today and why ordinary people have historically been outside that equation. A modern commercial ship costs anywhere from $40 million for a mid-sized tanker to $200 million for a large LNG carrier. No single person writes that check. Today, four sources of capital come together to finance a ship. Together, they form a global ship finance pool worth around $625 billion. Here is how each one works. Number 1. Bank loans. The most familiar. A shipping company takes out a loan the same way you or I might take a loan to buy a house. The bank covers the 60 to 70% of the ship's price. The shipping company fends the rest from its own pocket. The ship itself is the security. The top 40 banks in the world that do this hold about $290 billion in shipping loans between them. 2. Leasing. This is a relatively new mechanism which is mostly run out of China, and now this is the biggest source of new ship finance in the world. A leasing company buys the ship outright. The shipping company leases it back, paying rent for 10 to 15 years, usually with an option to buy the ship at the end. Like leasing a car, except the car is a $100 million ship. 3rd, bonds. The public market route. A shipping company issues an IOU bond. Big institutions like pension funds and asset managers buy it. They lend the money upfront. The shipping company pays them back with interest, out of the ship's earnings. Most of these IOUs are issued out of Norway. About $14.5 billion in new bonds are sold every year. Number 4. Private capital. After 2008 crisis, banks pulled out of shipping in a big way. Very large private funds, the ones that manage tens of billions of dollars for billionaires and pension funds, moved in. They bought up the bad loans banks wanted off their books, often at deep discounts. They have stayed, and now they lend directly to make deals the banks won't touch. 4 pools, $625 billion, and one thing in common: banks, leasing arms of state-owned giants, bond buyers who need a minimum ticket of $200,000 to play, private funds that only take money from billionaires, and pension funds. There is no door in any of those 4 pools for a seafarer who actually sails the ship, or an engineer who maintains it, or the ordinary people who watch it pass through the city's ports. That is the gap, which brings us to the answer of the third question. What happened this year that can potentially open the gates of the shipping world for the common person? This video is powered by Shipfinex, and here's what changed this year. The UAE's Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, the financial services authority in Dubai responsible for digital assets, on the 14th of January 2026, granted Shipfinex in-principle approval under the Virtual Asset Broker-Dealer category, covering tokenized maritime assets. An in-principle approval is not full operational license. It is subject to completion of final regulatory requirements. What that means in plain language: once verified, prospective maritime asset token holders in eligible jurisdictions can hold digital tokens that represent economic exposure to a ring-fenced single-vessel company. The entry ticket is a fraction of what those 4 traditional sources require, and that too under a regulator's supervision. If you look at the architecture carefully, it is the same logic those merchants used in 1688. Independent inspection, each ship inside its own legal company, so its risks are ring-fenced from every other ship. The structure banks and lessors already use today. This is different from holding the stock of a company where the assets are clubbed together. transparent records of who holds what. That is similar to the Lloyd's list, but through on-chain digital records. Many small participants instead of one institutional buyer. This is similar to what happened inside the Lloyd's coffee shop. The idea started 300 years ago. Ordinary people pooling small amounts around a single ship. With proper inspection, with proper records, with proper regulator. It started in a coffee shop with people and sailors like you. It went quiet for 3 centuries and in 2026, it's coming back. You can check out the link in the description and sign up on the Shipfinex platform for more updates. I'll see you in the next one.